There I am. You're on mute. Marcus, you're on mute. You're on mute, buddy. There we go.
Oops. I just said all that for nothing, didn't I?
Yep. That's why I texted it. You're on mute, buddy.
Okay. Well, as I said, welcome to the MNSpiritCast. Glad to be back on here. It's been a while, but Casey has been doing a great job about filling in for me since I've been gone. So we're in one of the Dakotas tonight, and that will be South Dakota. We are virtually there with an amazing team. We know nothing about the paranormal over there, and it's going to be nice to hear about the history and the hot spots and all that going on over there. So I want to remind you to check out our sponsors of Dubby Energy, one of the energy drinks that you don't see very often. And it's a very exciting energy drink, if I must say. If you just need that maybe kick in the butt to get you going. So
Yes, we do.
Check out Dubby Energy. The links are down below for that, as well as Schneider Customs and a couple others. And I'm just linking of what all of those are. But let's not keep them waiting much longer. Everybody, please help me welcome from South Dakota, Black Hills Paranormal. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. And we got 4 of you guys here. This is awesome. So
yeah.
We'll start with maybe you guys introducing yourselves. We'll go from there.
Okay, my name is Maurice Miller. Most people know me as Mo. I'm the lead investigator for Black Hills Paranormal Investigations. Sitting next to me is Danny Jo Butler. She's one of our investigators. She's also a psychic medium.
Oh, cool.
Hi, I'm Wendy Fisher.
Sorry.
Apparently, I can't introduce myself. Sorry, yes. And I'm Nan.
Yeah.
And
I
we have 2 more people on the team, Casey Hibbert, Nan's husband, and we also have Brooke Butler, who's also on the team, but neither one of them could be here tonight. So
that's quite okay. We're excited just to have you guys here. And so starting with your team's name, if I'm not mistaken, there's a part of South Dakota called Black Hills, correct?
Yes, we live in the Black Hills. That's
okay.
That's the name, Black Hills Paranormal Investigations.
Okay, so do you want to tell us a little bit about Black Hills? Because you all live in Black Hills, right? So what does Black Hills mean?
Well, the hills, obviously the Black Hills, it's an Indian name. They were Pahasapa. Yes. And it meant the hills that are black. And it's because of the trees, the evergreen trees that we have here, the ponderosa pines, the bottoms of the needles, when you're away from the hills, look black.
Very interesting.
That's how they got the name, apparently.
So, sorry, I got my child beside me. She's distracting me. So that was her laugh. It was funny the other day, and I don't mean to get off subject here, but that laugh that you guys just heard, we were over at a friend's house, whatever, hanging out, and we're going to turn that down. We were playing some board games and stuff, and they had a little puppy, and she absolutely loves dogs, and she was playing with the puppy. Okay, well, whatever was happening, she lets out that laugh, and nobody had ever heard her laugh before, and everybody's looking around them like, what the heck was that? So it was quite funny because she rattles when she laughs, and it's really funny.
That's awesome.
We have Facebook user here tonight, and I can't see who you are. So if you want to maybe just put who you are in the comments so we can show some appreciation for you being here. We have the one and only lurker with us, Carlos. Welcome. Good to see you and hope you're feeling well. And another.
Hi, Carlos.
So, okay, so let's talk a little bit about Black Hills Paranormal. So you had mentioned before the show you started in what, 07?
2007, yes.
2007. Okay, perfect. So let's rewind back to 2007. And you mentioned you're the only original member
Right.
remaining.
The OG.
So
The OG, yeah.
what's that?
The OG.
Yeah, you are the GOAT.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's rewind back to 07. Why did you start Black Hills Paranormal, or did you even start it?
No, I didn't start the group. It was founded by Josh Winnes and another person. Their name escapes me now, and they're no longer, obviously, they're no longer on the team. But back then, we had things called chat rooms, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how I ended up being with them, because I would ask questions and stuff on the chat room. They finally said, "Hey, come on over with us."
Sure.
And I was like, "Absolutely."
Yeah. I mean, when you get a bunch of like-minded people together, like you had mentioned,
Right.
Anything is possible. Like Casey here, I remember the first time that Casey had reached out to me, and he had reached out showing me a photo of a photo that he had took on a thermal camera. And what was it, Casey? I think you could see some fingers or something on there, and you were pointing it out to me.
Yeah, that was my fingers, actually.
Oh, sure. Okay. So,
The
well,
reason why I sent it is because I had felt like a child held my hand or something. And I
okay.
had a member of mine come to me and take a photo of where the thermal put through the different cold spots, and it was like 15 degree chill from it,
Mm-hmm.
from one side to the other. It was 15 different degrees, so it was kind of cool. And that's what I was showing him. So,
Okay. And so where I'm going with that is, Kate, and this was about, I want to say maybe 2 years ago. And Casey had been asking to get on the team for quite a while, and I didn't have any positions open. We were full. Like I mentioned, we had 11 people or so, maybe more. And I don't know, but I just felt that Casey was like me in the paranormal field. He was curious like me. He wanted the evidence. And eventually when spots opened up, heck yeah, come on over, so it's amazing what happens when you get and here on Minnesota Spirit Hunters, it's not a team, it's a family.
Right.
Everybody who joins the team, you're now our family. So it's pretty cool. So now, do you maybe describe yourself as the founder of the team, or not necessarily the founder, but you are like the head of the team, right?
Right, pretty much. I'm team lead, I guess.
Okay.
But I let everybody has an equal say, pretty much.
We
much, yeah.
boss him around.
Pretty much.
Well, I mean, there's no winning, man.
Right. Especially with all the females, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you are sitting with 3 of them right now. You might as well not even say anything. They're
Right.
gonna win. So, but I don't know. Like I mentioned before, I am one of the youngest members on the Minnesota Spirit Hunters, owning the team. It's weird giving direction, yet it's my job to give direction. I just feel a little weird being the youngest one, So, I've had 15-year-olds on the team. Of course, their mom was on the team too. So, I don't do minors anymore. It's a liability type thing, So I won't do minors anymore. But I don't know. We've had a complete history of our team. So let's talk a little bit about the history of your team. So you told us how you got started and everything. What was your very first investigation?
My very first one with the team was a house in Rapid City. Okay. And everything that you've ever seen on movies and stuff happened there. Stuff moved, stuff flew around. We heard phantom sounds like furniture moving, and there was nothing in this house because there had been a fire.
Wow.
There had been a fire in the house, and they gutted it. But it was crazy. And we got an EVP that was crazy. It wasn't in a language that we understood, and we took it to be native. And we asked Ernie LaPointe, and if you guys know him or know of him, he's legitimately the grandson of Sitting Bull. And we said, hey, Ernie, would you listen to this for us? And he was like, sure. It wasn't Lakota, it was Nakota. That's North Dakota. But it was saying, what do you mean? It didn't understand this because we walked in like, hey, I'm Mo, yada, yada, carrying on.
Right.
Sure.
It was crazy.
That's insane.
Right.
And so when you say there was nothing here, I mean, and there was a fire, it basically just all debris and stuff, right? Or was it all cleaned up?
No, the house had been cleaned out, but there was nothing left. The only thing that was standing was the 2x4s and whatnot, within the house because they were, it was contained. The fire was.
Yeah.
And so what they did was they just gutted the house and redoing the drywall and stuff. Originally, it was lath and plaster, which was really cool because we got an EVP of a female saying the name Kara. Okay.
Okay.
And the lath and plaster on the walls that had fallen off, one of the laths, I guess you call it that, had the name Kara on it. And back then, when the house was built, like in 1903 or 1901, I can't remember. But people would write like who the construction workers were and who owned the house, yada yada, and they'd wall it up somewhere.
Sure.
And we come across that. And it was crazy. When we were in the basement of this house, there was some Romex, 3 wires, right? They moved one, the other 2 were going to move. This one would only move. And it was only when the owner would walk by. It was really, really weird. It was weird.
That's cool.
Very interesting, though.
Yeah, it was.
And what about the ladies? What do you guys remember your first investigation?
So mine's kind of a unique story. I've been on the team about 5 years. I'm the second oldest member of the team currently. And I'm a psychic medium. So the team really never worked with psychic mediums before.
Sure.
But there was kind of a weird series of events. The team had investigated in a house where there was a lot of activity happening. And after they had investigated, that homeowner had reached out to me. And so she had reached out to me because she was having so much activity in the home and she wanted to kind of know, if it was going to stop or what was going on. So I went into her home to do a reading for her and picked up on a lot of the activity and kind of told her who was there. And then she had told me that a paranormal team had been in, and I asked, did they provide any solutions for you or any help for you? And she said, well, not really. And I thought, this is a perfect opportunity where we could just work together and I can help, those clients if they don't have the ability to do that. So
absolutely.
I reached out to them through Facebook maybe or email. I don't remember. And I wasn't sure I'd get a response back.
It was really weird. The whole team, everybody on the team was like, sure, let's give her a chance. And up until this point, Black Hills Paranormal Investigations, we didn't poo-poo on psychics, but if you give a public presentation, people always come up and say, I talk to dead people, yada, yada. So we're like, whatever. And we wouldn't mess with them until they It was really weird. We just all of a sudden, it was like, come on, let's do this.
But actually, we met at a Burger King in Sturgis, South Dakota.
Yes.
Church group.
Hey. That was funny stuff.
And we're trying to talk about this stuff.
Why not enjoy a Whopper while you're at it?
Right.
Right.
So they the team was like, hey, let's give it a try and we'll see how it goes. So we made an appointment with that homeowner to kind of go back there and do another investigation altogether. And little did I know that they were actually testing me.
Yeah.
I didn't know this, but they were like, let's do the test. So we did a walkthrough basically of the home. And I just picked up on some things that I wouldn't have known and nobody would have realized about the house. And they were a little bit impressed, I guess. But
because she said one of the rooms, they were renovating, they were working on the house. Upstairs, one of the bedrooms it was just nothing but tools and wood, wood laying around. And
Sure.
she said, well, in the far corner, there is a soft spot in the floor. That's what she was picking up. And me and Mark, who's no longer on the team, we walked over there, and sure enough, there was a soft spot on the floor.
And the
And
homeowners didn't even know.
Yeah, and we're like,
Really?
I'm sold, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, Danny, let me ask you this. How did you find out for the first time that you were psychic medium? What made you find out that you were a medium?
That's kind of a long story. So I actually wrote a book about it. But what I'll tell you is that all my life, I think I knew I was different. I just didn't know what that meant. And at one point in my life, another medium said to me, you can do this work. And I was like, no, I can't. And she's like, yes, you can. So I tried and I could, and it just kind of opened a whole new door for me. But I think all my life I had experiences that would have told me that I was psychic. I just didn't have anybody to kind of explain that to me or mentor. But now I teach it. And I actually have taught some of our team members how to open up to their own abilities. So that makes it kind of interesting on the team.
She looks at me, I'm as psychic as a rock, okay?
He's so psychic, he can't figure out time zones.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So that explains our little miscommunication.
Right,
today.
right.
Okay. And what about our other ladies over here? What was your first investigation? I don't remember your names. I'm sorry.
My first investigation was actually in Deadwood, the famous Deadwood, in a brothel, one of the brothels that was turned into a museum. That was my first one.
Okay.
My first investigation was actually here in the building that we're at.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yes.
Danny's store. And it was interesting. It was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. And then on the way home, I started thinking that actually just happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
There's activity in this building that we're sitting in.
well, if we're lucky, maybe something will happen during the show.
Right?
That'd be cool.
Like, okay, if there's anybody there with the Black Hills Paranormal Investigators, can you move that picture behind them? I just want to see it.
That would be
That'd be
really
cool.
good.
So
or someone walking past it with like
Right?
glass, you can see it.
That'd be pretty cool.
some of the stuff we have here, just so you know, probably wouldn't happen in this room, but we have where they will turn our music off and on, or they'll skip through songs. They'll do 10
Really?
seconds of each song, and then they'll go to the next one. My husband actually came here this morning to help me work, and he had his phone, and he had his Amazon Music on it, and they've never done it on any other device than our Amazon Alexa here, but it started doing it on his phone, and he was pissed off. But we also get audio voices of women saying hello. Lights will flicker. They throw things off the shelf in the lobby where our crystal store is.
Wow.
Funny thing, well, obviously she can't show you, but in the store proper there are cameras, obviously.
Mhm.
One of the cameras, that one you actually hear a female saying hello, and Danny herself walks out of her office, walks into the main part of the store, and it's like, hello, is anybody here? And nobody's around.
Wow.
Wow.
How interesting.
Nice to have cameras here.
Right?
So you guys own the place that you're in.
I do.
She does.
Okay. Pretty cool. So, all right, let me ask you this. Have you ever, how do I ask? Because you guys have already investigated it. Do you ever think about just rolling back the footage on those cameras just out of curiosity?
So yeah, that's actually a really good question. I once in a blue moon will pull up cameras and be compelled to look at a certain time or whatnot. And one day I actually did that. I was like, I need to go back this morning and look at the camera for some reason. And when I did that, there was a man standing by the door, and there was a jewelry box behind him that was open, and he stepped forward and the jewelry box closed itself. And there's 3 people standing there that didn't hear it, didn't see it, but you clearly see it on the video. So yeah, once in a while I'm compelled to go look at that stuff.
And when we were investigating the last time we were here, when Wendy went, I think you were down in the room with me. Remember we trapped whatever,
Yes.
we have an SLS camera. We had 2 of them. Anyway, and there was a stick figure, and it crawled up and it positioned itself on the ceiling. And we're like, we got to get Danny down here. We got Danny down here, and I don't know what she did with her ability, I guess.
Whatever.
Yeah, she trapped it so we could get out of the room. It was crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's what I would if this has happened.
And I remember also with that situation too, because I was down there with you guys.
Yeah.
We have a little piece of equipment called a Tempest, which just kind of spits out words and phrases.
Yeah.
Throughout the investigation, it was just random stuff. As soon as we got in this one room, it started getting real dark. Like, please leave, get out.
Right.
leave now. We're
Yeah.
like,
That's
"Ooh,
true. It did.
This
It got
is
really
interesting.
dark.
And yeah, then we pick up that SLS figure, like spider walking up the wall, and we're like, yeah, we need Danny here. So
I am very tempted to ask you if we can investigate that building. That would be very cool.
I would definitely have a conversation with you about it and maybe be open to it.
Good to
Awesome.
know. Good to
That'd
know.
be cool.
I will keep in touch with you then. Before I get too much into that, because I'll talk your leg off about investigating. So, in celebration of our 4th season of this show, I'd like to ask all of our guests their 4 favorite investigation venues, and then we have another series of questions just like this. So, since there are 4 of you here tonight, what is each of your favorite investigation venues?
My favorites. We're talking 4, right?
Yes,
So are
One-
you talking about one each?
one each. Yeah.
But
Buffalo.
videos that we did?
Yeah, places that you've done already. What was your favorite?
Probably. Either the Adams or Buffalo.
Did I go to Buffalo?
Yes. Duh.
I have the worst memory.
You were there. You put it on.
Oh, the Occidental.
Occidental
Yeah,
Hotel,
okay,
yes, in
okay,
Buffalo,
okay.
Wyoming. The
Yeah.
Occidental Hotel.
Yeah, that was a little intense.
Yeah, it was.
So I'm so used to paranormal investigating. It all kind of blurs together for me, and I probably shouldn't say that as an investigator, but
Well,
Yeah. When you do it all the time. Yeah.
it is what
you're
it is.
only human.
I think that my favorite videos are when we catch really stupid stuff that we do that is just hysterical. We scared some people one time. I ran into a wooden post and
With her
knocked
head.
myself
With
out.
her head. And
Yeah.
you heard it go boom, it reverberated. It was
Okay.
amazing.
So
Uh,
those are my favorites.
I'm going to elaborate and ask a question. Do you have footage of this incident?
Oh my God. We'd have to look.
I think you were videoing it.
We were, but I can't remember if we I don't
Can
know.
we see this footage?
Oh, we're gonna have to.
Do you want to know one that's even better?
Let's hear it.
We're on an investigation and they're standing in the front of the bathroom. One
Oh
on
my
either side of the
God.
bathroom.
And we are live.
live on Facebook.
Hey,
And
Johnny, you're muted, by the way.
I never realize when we're live because they stay live so long I forget we're live. And I'm standing there waiting for them to move because I need to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
They're talking.
Yeah, me and Mark, yeah.
Finally, I'm like, would you get out of the way? I have to poop.
And of course, Mark and I are like hauling ass. Opposite ways. We're like, hey.
We have video.
Okay. Really funny question for you guys. Speaking of poop, okay?
Oh boy, what a place to jump in, huh?
I know.
Right?
Everybody welcome Johnny. He is one of our technicians.
Hello, nice to meet you all.
Okay. All right. Back to the poop. All right. Have you guys ever caught a ghost fart on camera?
No, that I don't know what that was.
Don't make one.
That
Elaborate. I want to hear.
she's dead. Up on William Street in Deadwood, remember?
The lady up in Deadwood.
Yeah, we were upstairs and we heard right, and I was like, Danny, knock it off. And she was like telling me, like, no, knock it off. And it wasn't either of us. And the lady that owned the house was laughing her ass off at the bottom of the stairs, going, oh, that was my deceased husband. He farted all the time.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So that's a real thing.
Wow. Who
And
knew?
the food smell when we were in Buffalo during the Spirit Box.
Well,
So-
who knew? Who knew poop could be a conversation starter?
Yeah.
Right?
Hunters.
Tell us your favorite video.
Video your.
Or
Yeah.
Just
Um,
investigation.
I think the Green Door brothel that we just did in Deadwood, that there was a lot of conversation with spirits. Like when we were in that room,
Right.
there were 3 of us in the room, and we had the dowsing rods, we had a flashlight, and we had was it the EMF detector?
Yep.
Yep.
Because remember when I'd come in, everything would stop,
Yep.
and then I'd leave and it'd start up again.
Yep.
Mhm.
Having a conversation with them, and it was really cool.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And sorry. I was just gonna say that we did notice that, like he said, whenever the males would come around, then
Yeah.
things weren't as active. But when we were there, just the females, there was a lot going on.
That reminds me, Johnny and Casey, when we were over in Anoka.
Yeah.
No, that was me farting. That wasn't a ghost. Oh,
I'm
wait,
not
what are you talking about?
I'm not talking about investigations with us are absolutely crazy because we
Right.
do anything and everything. Anyway, I'm not talking about the fart. We know it was you. But the spirits, we were in a parking garage for a bar and grill, and the spirits only wanted Casey and I. We had invited multiple guests to the investigation, which Johnny was one of those guests. He was not part of the team. He actually got invited to the team on that investigation. But they only wanted me and Casey, and we had the mail meter and we had the REM pod. The REM pod, no luck whatsoever. They absolutely loved the mail meter. Nothing would happen when the females and Johnny and all of them were around. Nothing would happen. They leave the room. Casey and I are alone. Instant responses, nonstop, going off. I threatened to leave the room because there was no more activity going on. I go to push the door open. There goes the mail meter again. So
Hey.
they loved us. And then we tried going over to the other side of the parking garage because it's a little elevator shaft with stairs in it and everything.
Right.
And we go over to the other side. Nothing. Go back with Casey. It all starts happening again. So I see what you're saying there.
Yeah, and that's funny you bring that up because depending on where you're at, I'm going to assume that spirits were people too. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
So they might take a shine to me. They might hate my guts. They might really like Danny or Wendy or Nan. You don't know until you get in.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
some of them don't care, who it is, and some people do.
Exactly.
We never got to Nan. Yeah, your favorite.
I don't know about video, but I think investigation would probably be the Adams House, another Deadwood location.
It's a mansion. It's
mansion
huge.
turned museum.
Okay.
But we always get so
Sparked
much
my interest.
consistent evidence in there, and activity. And I think I had probably one of my holy grail moments as an investigator, where we were with a group of people, and on the opposite side of the room, there's this old door that leads into a little breakfast nook, and on this part of the tours, it does not get open.
And it opened. Remember it opened? Yeah, I was
so
there.
I was kind of scanning the room with the FLIR, and then of course it shut itself off, and so I was trying to get it back on, and I heard this click, so I shone my flashlight across the room, and then I see the door swinging open, and I was like, "You guys!"
And then the people that were standing by the door were like, "Oh my God!" They were scared to death.
So that was pretty cool.
That's crazy.
Cameras move by themselves. Lots of SLS stuff.
Wow.
Footsteps.
Yeah.
All
Whistling.
things.
Smell.
Good EVPs.
Smells.
That's fantastic, guys. That's great. You guys seem like you have had quite a few experiences in the paranormal field.
We have, and I think it's by virtue of us being around for so freaking long, basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Because just about every single place in Deadwood that can be investigated, we've been there. We've done places up in Colony, Wyoming, Buffalo, Wyoming. We've been down to Schneider, or at least I have. This is before these guys were on the team. Schneider, Nebraska. The farthest we've been east is Pierre.
Okay.
That's right on the river. If you guys are familiar with the Missouri River.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That divides the state east and west.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. No Minnesota. You never been over here?
No,
Man, we got to
Yeah.
change that.
Yeah.
We got to change that for sure. We got to change us not being over in South Dakota as
Right.
well. So, okay. So, to continue our celebration of season 4, now you guys get the opportunity to tell me your bucket list investigation. What do you want to do? And we'll do one each again.
probably. Golly, that's a hard one. Because I
I
was
got to make you think.
I was in the military, so I spent time in Europe. Probably one of the castles in Ireland. I think it's Lep Castle. Is that in Ireland?
Yep.
I believe so, yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Lep Castle. I think I'd like to.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That's on my
Perfect.
bucket list too.
Awesome. Danny?
Mine's probably a little cliche, but I think the Stanley Hotel would be fun for me. I mean,
Yes.
growing up, I loved scary movies, and I just
Yeah.
think that would be awesome. I don't like places like penitentiaries or mental institutions because I deal so much with helping people with dark energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Places
That
are
makes
so full of it and heavy, but I think the Stanley Hotel would be it for me.
Colorado, here we come.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
As of now, I don't have one yet. I'm sure someday I'll know, but I just don't know yet.
Hey,
Wendy's the newest
acceptable.
member on the team.
Yeah, she's new. She's brand spanking new. She's only been on here a couple months now.
I'll allow it.
We'll break her in good.
Okay, good.
I would say mine. I think the Harrisville house. I know it's been done all the time, but I would just love to have my own experience there.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys for that. Appreciate that. Okay, so let's move into a little more about your team now that we got the fun stuff out of the way. What does your team specialize in? And what I mean by that, of course, you have your psychic medium and all that. Do you specialize in investigations strictly? Do you do cleansings? Do you do, I guess I can chalk it up to that. Cleansing, you get the idea. What do you guys specialize in?
Well, we're all investigators first, but if there's a cleansing that's needed, that's why we have Danny now. We go through and because sometimes people, well, you guys, I'm sure you guys have had this happen to you. Somebody calls, they say there's activity, they just want you to identify it. They don't want it gone or anything like that.
Right.
And that's where Danny comes in. She makes that determination for us.
So we kind of do the whole package, is what I would say
Right.
to your answer to that. My daughter, who's not here today, is also a medium, and her and I do a lot of the portal closings and house clearings. So I was laughing when you asked because this guy over here, who's psychic as a rock,
Yeah.
Brooke and I will be on the floor closing a portal, like serious intense work, and he'll walk in the room and he'll be standing in the middle of the portal and be like, "How's it going?" And I'm like, "Get out!" Like, no, like what are you? He's like, "Oh, they're doing stuff in there."
Yeah, I'm getting used to it. It's taking a while.
Yeah.
And also, but she was talking about. I don't know if you guys ran into portals before, but her and Brooke will say, "Hey, there's a portal in this room. It's over here," and you go stand there, and it's like you're standing in a hole. It's really weird.
Yep.
Your feet feel like you're standing on the edge of like a precipice almost. It's
Sure.
really weird.
Okay. Let me ask you this: would you classify a vortex the same thing as a portal, or is it two separate whole things?
No, I would say you're probably talking about the same thing. So it's an opening to a different realm where dark things can come in and out of, and it can be upright or in the floor. It can also be in mirrors and other things like that. But yeah, I think probably the same thing.
And when I say vortex, I'm not talking about Johnny. Okay, so that's me.
Oh, I'm very much a different thing, that's for sure.
Yes, you are. At one of our recent cases that we did, it's a haunted attraction. It's going to be the season premiere of season 3 coming up in April. You guys will get to see all that, but we dealt with a vortex there. and it was from upstairs to downstairs, the bathroom, and then the basement corner, one
Wow.
specific corner. And I don't want to give too much away because I want to save it for the episode.
Right.
But we have somebody over on our YouTube. Welcome. But
Hi.
all I'm gonna say is that our conclusion to that vortex was the way that we debunked it was super cool, because we debunked it with a voice through the spirit box and our minds and our brains. Basically, we get a EVP, and I'm just sitting there thinking, like, I'll just say this: the EVP was right. Okay, so the spirit box said right. I'm sitting there thinking, like, I mean, what does it mean? And then I started looking like, hey, you're to my right, they're to your right, they're to your right, and things like that. We kept going. And turns out there was a mirror on the other side of that last person to their right, which means that there was a mirror in the bathroom as well. So that's all I'm going to say. You guys could do the math, but we're thinking that was the whole reason for that vortex, which also led me to that question: is vortex the same thing as a portal? Because as everybody knows, two mirrors create a portal.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking that was our reason. It may not even been a vortex. It might have been those spirits traveling mirror to mirror. So we don't know. That's one thing that we have to really dive deep into on our evidence reviewing. So,
and also, I think you hit it on the head. The best tool that you have, that anybody can have, is the one between your ears.
yes.
You can have all the cool equipment that you want, but
I think I need to replace the batteries in mine.
I think we all do.
That's just perception, Johnny.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
That's awesome.
Have y'all had a chance to talk about gear yet?
Not
That's
yet.
my thing is gear.
We have a lot.
Oh, we have tons.
What is y'all's favorite piece?
That was going to be my question. Yeah, what's y'all's favorite gear?
That's why your brain needs batteries, and I'm
so. My favorite, I think, would be an SLS camera and one of our periscopes. If you guys are familiar with those.
Can you tell us about the periscope a little bit?
Yeah, periscope is 360 degrees, and it operates on the triboelectric field. It's not EMFs. It's static, like back in the old days when you used a rubber balloon on your head. When you're Anyway, and this piece of equipment has 360 degrees worth of wands on it. So if something disturbs that field that it sets up, and the wand will light up, it'll point to that, and then you can follow it around as it goes. If it's going around the room or whatever.
Yeah,
it's pretty interesting when they actually go off.
Yeah, I'd love to learn more about that.
Yeah,
they don't make them right now.
Right, because we got it from a place called Paranologies. If you guys are familiar with that.
Gotcha.
That's probably also my favorite piece of equipment, but I'll pick something different since he picked that. So I right. I like the spirit box because I feel like when we have a lot of spirit around and we can ask questions and get valid answers back, I think that's pretty impressive for people to see.
Or when it calls our name on the spirit box.
Yep.
That usually kind of freaks me out, but it kind of gets me, you're like, whoa.
Yeah. So I like that.
All wired up, yeah.
We were at a location in Rapid City, and I had done a clearing on a client that day that had a dark energy, and this energy said to me, "I'll be back. You'll see me again." And I was like, "The hell I will!" Like, out. And so we went that night, and I hadn't told anybody about that experience, and we were up in a upper floor of a built business downtown in Rapid City, and Mo was doing the spirit box, and he was chatting some stuff, saying this and that. Then it got really quiet for a minute, and all the hair on my arm stood up. And then he yells, "Watch out for me, Danny." And I was like, "Oh,
yeah. That made my hair stand up.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was that spirit.
Oh,
like,
no.
I'm gonna tell you. Like, okay, I'm done.
As an engineer of reverse engineering these things. I do my own REM pods and stuff.
Right.
The spirit boxes, the SB7s, I could not do better than that. That is such a well put together custom piece of just
Wow.
good electro engineering
Right.
that I haven't even bothered trying. So absolutely, it's a great piece to use.
That's cool.
Yes.
I guess I'd say my favorite is the dowsing rods.
Okay.
you can
We
ask
have digital
questions.
dowsing rods. They light up, so you can see them at night. They're really cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep. And so that's kind of the fun time when you're having conversations with the spirits.
And you, well, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, Danny's daughter Brooke, she's
Yeah.
amazing with them. It's
Good.
really fun.
Because Brooke also, she'll use the dowsing rods and she'll have a flashlight sitting next to her that'll go off when the dowsing rods are going. It's
Mhm.
really neat. So
That's
yeah, use
cool.
the equipment alarming at the same time
Oh,
for the same reason.
Very cool.
I love the paranormal music box. I think especially because I'm a little more analytical minded, so every time a piece of equipment goes off, I'm like, well, like if it's EMF, like is it something else in the room? Is it the wiring? But for me, like if it's something crossing a motion sensor, it's like it kind of doesn't leave a lot of questions. So I love that one.
Right.
Cool and
It's kind of
Yeah,
like, it's
and
kind
creepy
of,
music.
right, the creepy music, but it's kind of like the pyramid. The pyramid does the same thing.
Right.
That's awesome. I think I'm going to ask my tech geeks over here. What is y'all's favorite piece?
well, mine's a millimeter.
Okay.
I have more luck with that than anything else.
What about you, Johnny?
I am going to spill the beans on a new favorite thing of mine that I'm just getting into the process of creating. Same idea as a REM pod, but instead of beeping, there's several of them in a row, and it's a little voice box in each one.
Oh.
So you lay them out, and it's yes, no, more, less, good, bad.
You're
So the
actually
spirit-
creating that?
Yep, I'm
We
working
talked
on it
about
now.
that.
I've got a bunch of parts to get to put together and try with, based
You
on
let me
EMF
know.
or whatever you want to do that will trigger it.
We
But
got-
then you lay them together and you get really specific
Right.
That's
answers.
awesome.
We got to talk to Johnny about like the
Right?
next time we buy equipment.
Yeah,
Let me
right.
just let me
Like
just
I was
grab
so
my,
excited.
let me just grab my wallet quick. I'll be right with you.
Uh-huh.
So I think my favorite piece, it originally started as the K2 meter because you can duplicate the K2 meter all you want to, but I feel it's a very effective piece of equipment. However, Johnny over here has changed my mind, and my favorite piece is now the VIP, which is basically a REM pod, but it's a lot quieter than a REM pod, and I think he might have one laying around. There it is.
Yes. Get it up to
Nice.
the camera. It's all one piece. Has your... Oh, that does show up well.
Nice.
White, green, yellow, red. It just uses a regular 9-volt battery, and it's what I call an investigation rugged. You could toss this and beat it up, and everything is isolated. Everything's held in there real good, so you don't have to worry about beating it up and ruining an expensive piece. Now, do you guys have REM pods, or
Yes.
how much do those things cost? The one you purchased.
No, I think it was like 150.
159.
I think it was around there.
I make these I put these together for $50.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Johnny, we need your content.
Yes.
Absolutely. I gotta sell as many as I can before global. Ooh, that's what is it? Shoot, global ghost hunters.
Right.
That store. They just did an evaluation with me tonight of them. So I got to sell as many as I can before they want the exclusive rights to them.
Right.
And jack up the price and stuff.
Oh, exactly. Makes money.
Yeah. On the first investigation that Marcus was talking about, I'm like, oh, that's a REM pod. That's really cool. And it was kind of delicate and just kind of screwed together. They're like, hey, be careful with that. That was $180. I'm like, whoa, shit. Okay. Why is that $180?
Right.
But
like,
you know,
there's no reason for that.
I just and that's why it's the VIP is one of my favorites, because it's very durable and you know, basically a priceless piece of equipment.
Right.
That very first investigation that Johnny joined us on actually really inspired a lot of things, because you know, oh, that's $180. Hold my beer. You know, basically, you know, and then, you know, you're also, Johnny, creating a investigation guide too. So we were able to inspire Johnny to do these things. So, you know, we made a difference, I think, with that. So that was kind of cool.
I was able to put some miles on the Ecto and like had the lights and stuff on while we were headed to the first space.
But we're driving through Anoka, Minnesota, which is, you know, a little bit on the outside of the Twin Cities, and just driving through Anoka. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! Just going through town. I can literally hear it with all my windows up and everything. It's kind of cool. Really cool. So, okay, perfect. Let's move on to your projects. What are you guys working on at the moment?
Right now, we've got 3 investigations that we have to review evidence on. We're going, well, I can't say what it is, but it's a museum in Deadwood here next month, more than likely. And we have been invited to the Stanley Hotel.
Yeah?
Yes.
Before me.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we don't know if we're going yet or not.
Just do it. Just do it.
We're going. I'm going without you.
Full sender, bud.
Well, the people that own, now I'm getting off the subject, but the people that run the Stanley, apparently there was a paranormal investigative group that was being really shitty to the people. They put the kibosh on everybody.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
We don't have any other investigations.
No,
I think
not,
some potential residential ones, but
Right.
I think they're not.
but nothing's written in
Still
stone
thoughts.
yet. Yeah, we're still talking.
Sure. Now, I have a few more questions for you guys, and Casey and Johnny, if I'm talking too much, feel free to cut me off. But
you're good.
So after I'm done with these questions, because I have a set list of questions, my goal with Minnesota SpiritCast has always been to show people out there that there's somebody to help them. Okay, so hence why I'm doing a show in each United States state. If somebody's having an issue, I want them to be able to go back through the playlist, find their state, and listen to what these teams got to say. You know, and they know there's a reliable person out there to help them.
Right.
What I want to do after I ask these questions that I have is, Danny, I would like you to maybe walk us through the process of cleansing a property. That'd be kind of cool to hear. So my next question for you would be, what makes South Dakota a good place to take a paranormal tour? Okay, so if somebody was wanting to maybe tour South Dakota and check out all the hot spots, what makes South Dakota a good state to do that?
Well,
we're going to record a commercial here tonight. That's yeah.
Number one, there's not a lot of us in South Dakota, people that do this. So, and of course, no matter what town you go to, be it, you know, a one horse town or like a bigger city like the Twin Cities, people talk like, hey man, you know, this house over here is haunted, yada yada yada, which opens the door for us, obviously, but we don't beat on doors. We have people come to us. We don't knock on somebody's door and go, oh, your house is creepy looking. Can we come in?
But I think a lot of the reason this would be a good place to come is the history in Western South Dakota, the mining and the crime in Deadwood and the gaming and the brothels and so much went on in this part of the state that everywhere you go in Deadwood, Lead, even Spearfish and Sturgis and Rapid, I mean, you could practically go in anybody's house and you're going to get activity. And I mean, that hot spot is Lead Deadwood. I mean, you can go to practically every casino up there and they have a haunted tour that you can take.
Right.
And I thought Minnesota was full of hauntings.
Right. And also, Black Hills Paranormal Investigations, we have investigated a mine, which a lot of groups have not. We actually went to the mine, which is really
very cool.
And you do not know black, dark until you get it way back in a mine.
Yeah.
You cannot see your hand in front of your face, literally.
Sure.
All right. I've got the slogan for you then. You know, Black Hills, come for the paranormal, stay for the brothels and stay for the brothels and gambling.
Yes.
There we go.
It wasn't that long ago you could still visit the brothels here in 1980.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I got the mullet. I'll come up. We can do some period work.
Right on. Hey, I remember I had a mullet way back. And I had an
rocking it, huh? Yeehaw.
Yeah.
It's coming back. It's coming back. It's primo.
Right.
Yes, yes. I think I have an idea for a new logo.
Oh, cool.
Cartoon ghost with a mullet.
With a mullet. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. That'd be kind of cool.
Johnny Vortex can be the mascot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Have have a silhouette of the VIP in the background.
Right?
Yeah.
You're giving me ideas now.
Oh, I don't think I can put photos in the chat.
In the private chat, possibly. Stop. Now my phone died, so she's messing with my computer.
Gosh.
No, don't do that. Lost my train of thought here. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about. Let's talk a little bit about your investigation process. Do you guys have a pre-investigation process? Do you have to conduct a walkthrough before doing an investigation?
Yeah, if we haven't been, if it's a location that we have not been to before, people will reach out to us. Then I will schedule a walkthrough, and it'll be me and Danny, depending on where it's at in the hills.
Mm-hmm.
And then once we do the walkthrough, we'll sit the clients down. We'll say, hey, okay, this is what we think's going on. Do you guys want an investigation? If it's warranted, then we'll set up a time and we'll go in and we'll investigate.
What kind of things do you look for during those pre-investigation walkthroughs?
Well, I learned way back in the Stone Age. You look at people's books, you look at their videos, because they're going to say, oh, The Exorcist is in my house or whatever. You guys know all the books and the movies and whatnot. So you have to separate basically the pie shit from the pepper part of the phrase.
Yeah.
But and what we will do is also people, the first thing out of people's mouths is you're going to think I'm crazy, but
right.
Really, you guys are calling us. You're not crazy, right?
Right. Yep.
We're ready to believe you. Yeah.
Yeah, and something is bothering people. Whether it's paranormal or not, and that's where we're going to come in and we're going to try to figure this out for you. It might be a squirrel nest or whatever in your basement or attic, or it might be something other than, we don't know until we go.
Yeah, I had a hotel come to me and had my team before I joined Marcus. They had me come in and investigate their place because they had clients that stayed there had problems. We had to figure it out. So I do get that. Yeah.
We've also had in the past, we've had clients or a potential client that says, "Hey, I'm seeing spiders crawling up the walls," and they tell well, as as much as I hate to admit it, we have to ask them, are you drinking? Are you on drugs and stuff? And this lady was on medication, and we asked her. We said, "Hey, you need to talk to your physician," because we had a nurse on the team at the time.
Yeah.
She said, and then after you talk to your physician, give it a couple weeks, call us back and let us know. They called us back, everything was fine because they adjusted their meds.
Huh.
Very cool. Well, I mean, I guess that situation helps with us. I
Right.
do nursing work. So, I mean, I came home from work, still got my scrubs on, so jumped right on the show. So,
if the end goal is helping people,
right,
getting them to adjust their meds and make the spooky go away, that's a win. That's a win for sure.
Absolutely, because there's I'm sorry to cut you off, but there's a lot of people who each and everything that they experience, they want to classify it as paranormal.
Right.
But debunking is a gigantic part of the paranormal field. You
Right.
need to make sure what you're getting is true and genuine evidence.
Yep.
You can't like us right now, we're in the midst of editing our previous investigation, and then we're going to go back over there and present that evidence of the questions they asked us. So debunking is a huge thing. And that right there, if there's a lot of people who will just classify it as paranormal, but what you guys did, if you guys were to go in there and then start asking questions like, do you know why spiders are crawling up the wall or something like that, start talking to spirits, it would have made no sense. So you got to make sure you're figuring out what's best to get the answers that you need.
And also, just like you brought up earlier with young kids, it's a liability, because if somebody actually has a medical issue and we go in there and we start basically scaring the living hell out of them, and they have some kind of psychotic episode, it's going to fall back on
schizophrenia or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what did you have before Marcus interrupted you?
I forgot. Yep, I forgot.
Oh, no. Well, if you think of it, jump in and
no, that's all right.
I missed all the names, so you're just like tiny lady in my screen because I missed everyone's names.
Yes, Danny Joe.
Danny.
I can't remember what I was going to say. I think I was just going to say, I think with the members we have on our team right now, because we had quite a bit of turnover in the last year, we have a pretty new team. I think everybody's focus is a little more on spiritually being able to help people and really kind of come to a conclusion of, how can we make these people feel more safe and comfortable in their home? What can we help them understand? And so I think we're all kind of on the same page with that, which is awesome, because we've had some really great feedback, and Nan could give you some of that info of a couple of clients that have sent emails back. And do you want to tell them maybe just...
Yeah, like we had a client who, it was a private residential that we did, someone who recently purchased a house, and just weird things happening in there, and to the point where wouldn't turn the lights off at night, or did not want to go in his own basement.
Wouldn't even go to his basement,
Yeah, so we went there, we did our thing, Danny did her thing. And then since then, just the feedback, because we checked in a little while after, and just feeling better about being in their own homes. So that's such a nice thing.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. And I think going back to you're asking about the process, like the pre-investigation. So like Mo said, so typically also if Danny is not on that pre-investigation walkthrough, usually she tries to do one the day of the investigation. We're always really careful to not give her any information activities. So she knows usually nothing going into it, unless it's a place we've already been or something like that. She's
which is really cool with Danny, because we won't tell her, let's say, okay, and we're going to an investigation somewhere, and she does her walkthrough before we start the investigation. And then she talks to the client and says, I picked up on this, this, and this. And that's the exact same thing that the client told me 2 weeks ago. It's amazing.
I feel you there of being careful of not telling her anything. We have 3 mediums.
Or me. I'm
3 that
I'm an empath / medium, so
yes. So, I mean, of course I forgot about you. I always do. So,
nothing new.
love you still. So okay. So we kind of already briefly talked about this, but what's next for Black Hills Paranormal Investigations? I know you mentioned that investigation. Do you guys have any plans to start up a podcast or attend any Paracons or things like that?
Well, we're working. We're working on having another Paracon up in Deadwood, South Dakota. We're working with Deadwood Mountain Brand. It's one of the big hotels, and they really want, because we had one a couple years ago where you were there with Chris and Wes, and we're going to put this one on. If everything works out, we don't know yet. So
right on. I hear you there. We're in the middle of back in I think it was like May. We did a contest where each day people would vote for what state they would like us to take a tour and do a Paracon. And we would eliminate a state each day. And we did this for 50 days.
Wow.
And the final standing state was Iowa.
Wow.
And Iowa is a very hard state to find a venue to host a Paracon.
I can imagine. Yeah.
It is. And actually, if you guys stick around next Saturday, Iowa is our next state that we're doing on the show.
Right.
So
Right.
that'll be fun. But it's going to be called Spirits of the Corn. That's all I can say.
Right.
Spirits of the Corn Paracon. And I have yet to find a location. That's going to be hosted in spring of 2025. So we still got a year, but I'd like to invite you guys for sure, because you guys would be fantastic to, be at the Paracon rather than meet you guys, because
Right.
I'd like to meet you guys.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Absolutely. So, okay, perfect. I guess I'm going to wrap up by saying, what would be a piece of advice for a newcomer in the paranormal field?
The best, if somebody wants to be an investigator.
Sure.
Okay. First of all, you got to investigate for the right reasons. Okay.
Yeah.
We're in it. We're in it to help people.
Mm-hmm.
Also, make sure you have strong debunking skills, and this as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be the two main things I would say.
I think for me, because of the work that I do, my guidance to a new investigator would be that you need to also really focus on your protection of your physical body. It's kind of a long story about, paranormal investigators and mental health things they go through and people that have committed suicide in this field. But I firmly believe that's because of a lot of negative things that they're around. So people don't really talk about that a lot. Mm-hmm. But we as a team, we clear our energy. We smudge ourselves before we leave any location. And I think that that's such an important, critical part. So you don't take hitchhikers home,
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Which apparently you do.
Yes.
We've all had that.
So that would be my suggestion.
Go ahead. You think a little bit.
I would say, because I'm probably more on the spectrum of being one of the newbies. I would say, I think the people who've been on the team for longer, just such a wealth of information and just that grounding, because it's so easy to have something happen, you get all excited, and then be like, calm down. It's just a wet towel.
Right.
So yes,
Yeah.
that grounding is nice.
Yeah. So
I guess being the newest member, I would say just be ready for a ride. It's pretty cool.
Well, Johnny is the baby on our team, so he's our newest one. Yet I could say he is one of the ones full of advice. So, yeah. Johnny and Casey, what would be some advice you would give to a new investigator?
I would say outside of tech, have really cool color coordinated outfits. I want to take a screenshot Because that green is amazing, and then on the oh man, you guys are head to toe.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. It makes everything look just that little bit more professional. And when you're coming into someone's house, that credulity that's offered through the look of professionalism is incredibly important.
Absolutely.
And I would say y'all are the most professional looking team I have seen.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so mine would be make sure you look for your surroundings. For example, for an old home, old place, like if you're unfamiliar, walk around before it goes dark. And, make sure you're not going to trip over anything.
Yeah, I fall down my own stairs.
Right.
I fall up my stairs.
Right.
Yeah.
I've done both. Oh, and also one thing, well, as you guys as investigators know, sometimes you go into a location and it's like watching paint dry in the dark.
Yes.
And you got to tell the newbies, we're going to run into that. That's going to happen. And that's fine.
Yep, it's not a television show.
Exactly.
It's a lot of dead air sometimes. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think my best piece of advice for a newbie in the field would be go in the investigation with the right mindset.
Right.
If you go in with a chip on your shoulder, well, then the customer or your client is not going to be very happy, and they're probably going to have one on theirs too.
Right.
And to elaborate on that, never feed your client false information.
Exactly.
If you go in a venue and you automatically tell them you got poltergeist activity in here, and you really don't have poltergeist activity, you're going to terrify them. In the long run, they have to stay there after we leave. So
exactly, because when you investigate, we're there for a small snapshot of time.
Absolutely.
These people are, in their place, in their residence or their place of business 24/7.
Right.
So, even if something horrible happens, like let's say, well, not horrible, but enough that an investigator goes, "Oh my gosh." Okay, and then we leave. So have we stirred the pot enough to keep everything going, for them poor people that, we're gone.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
There's so many good pieces of advice floating around. I keep thinking of different stuff as for new people as we're talking.
Right.
Being a gearhead, just if you're getting started, you really don't need much for gear. You don't need $1,000 worth of stuff.
Sure.
Just a voice recorder is a great way to get started.
And a flashlight for safety.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And be aware of where that equipment is being set, because it is quite expensive.
Yes.
If you do get the good stuff. I've always heard, ghosts can mess up your devices. They can knock stuff over. And no, it's the corporeal klutz that's going to kill your equipment for sure.
I might add to my advice. If you're a new founder of a team and you're just opening your team, founder to founder here, don't feel bad if you're not like the seasoned teams out there. If you don't have the equipment that they have or anything, I started with my phone as a video camera and one voice recorder. That was it. And we've worked our way up, and now I have my own equipment. Johnny has his equipment, rather alone making equipment. Casey has equipment. Much other team members have equipment too. So you got to work your way to the top. I'm going on 4 years of owning the team. So you'll get there.
And
you
also,
will.
With what you said, if you're new, do not be afraid to reach out to a team that's got tons more experience, because most of them will help you.
Yep.
Yeah. That's how I got set up with these guys. Just, hey, I want to actually get into investigations, and I reached out to a close team, and they're like, "Yeah, come on along. Let's do this." Yeah.
Excuse me. Can I get a big hell yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so I have one final question for you guys, and then Danny will get a little bit into cleansing, and we'll wrap up for the night. So, where can you guys be found? Where can your evidence and stuff be found?
Well,
No,
okay.
that's not me.
We have our website is bhparanormal.com. And on the website, we posted up some of our EVPs and more relevant captures. We also have a new YouTube channel because we try to go live if the clients let us.
Okay.
Right.
That's Black Hills Paranormal. And you can go, you get on YouTube, look up that, it'll take you to it.
Okay.
And also our Facebook page, which is Black Hills Paranormal.
I do believe I have some links down below, so if anybody wants to go in the description, you can click on their hyperlink and it will take you right there. So,
and also on Facebook, in our photos section, we actually have where we captured the shadow figure. We actually have the shadow figure, it's actually there.
Right on.
Well, with your permission, I'd like to go on there, steal that, and put it up on our social media.
Oh, knock yourself out.
Well, I mean, I'd like to finish the show, so I'm totally kidding. Totally kidding. Well, that's all the questions I have for you guys. But before we wrap up tonight, Danny, what all goes into cleansing a house? What are the tips that you need to know? What are the pieces of information and merchandise that you need to cleanse the house?
This is for John. This is for Johnny. Oh, look at that!
Oh man, look at that!
Yeah.
I want me one of them.
I want to buy one.
Yeah, me too.
Pretty soon, hopefully, that's our next.
Yeah, I'm a designer, so yeah, I do all this goofy
Good
stuff.
to
Do you have stickers by chance?
No, not yet.
Oh,
Get with
I'm a sticker fiend.
Oh, really?
Get with it. Come on.
Right?
So I'll give you some basics. This could be a really in-depth conversation, but if you want to clear a house, one of the things that I almost always take with me is sage. If you have people who are allergic, one of the things I want to tell you is that it's more about intention. I actually cleared a house without ever lighting the sage in one location because they told me I couldn't burn it, and I had told Spirit I need to know what to do here. And they said, still clear the house as if it's burning. Your intention is more important than the sage.
Yes.
So it's a lot of it is intention. I also tell people go through and do it with confidence. As long as you don't bring a fearful mindset, you're going to clear what you need to clear. And I always like to go in a positive direction. So if I was going to clear a house, I want sage, a heat safe container, and a feather. I don't like to put my own energy behind the smoke, so I always use a feather.
Okay.
A piece of paper or a fan as well. But that's really about it for clearing a house. I use a lot of other tools. I like to use blessed water, protection spray. I use grounding stones and protection salt if needed. But again, that's all kind of complicated and gets pretty.
Yeah, because way back
crazy.
that very first investigation, that house, you guys spread salt
So all the way around.
all the way around the property.
Can I ask what your thoughts on black salt is?
I had just made black salt, as a matter of fact.
Yep, that's what we
Okay.
use. My daughter makes our salt here in the store, and it's black salt.
Right on.
Okay. And that can be used for cleansing as well.
Yep.
Actually, the black salt should be used after you've done your cleansing for protecting the place and keeping it protected.
Warding.
Okay.
Warding.
One thing that I always keep in my inventory is Palo Santo.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Does that come in handy?
That's what we use to clear ourselves after an investigation.
Okay. And all you do is basically wave it around your entire body, right?
Yep, light it, clear yourself, pass it to the next person.
You should never clear a different person, right? You should let them do their self.
If the person wants help, I always assist them, but I often, encourage them to do it on their own. But we lovingly have named ours the smoke
Smoke
down.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, well, Danny, we appreciate you appreciate you sharing that. That's very insightful. So, and we appreciate the Black Hills Paranormal Investigation team coming on Minnesota Spiritcast on this 26th episode of the All American Paranormal Tour. Only one of the I got tongue tied there. One of the Dakotas, and the other Dakota is coming up very, very soon. So it's going to be nice to hear about both of them and kind of collaborate the information on both of them and see the similarities and differences. So, Mo, Danny, and I'm sorry I forgot y'all's names.
Wendy and Nan.
Wendy.
Man.
Okay, well, regardless what your names are, we appreciate you. You know, you guys have been fantastic. I gotta agree with Johnny that you guys have been one of the most professional teams that has been on this show. I'm gonna out and say it. I'd love to investigate with you guys. It'd be a lot of fun.
It'd be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
And
if you do
Danny,
that con,
I would love
I
to
will
see,
drive out for that for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah, it would.
And Danny, I would love to see your. I would like to see you at work in person. I think it'd be very cool, because you seem like you're very knowledgeable. We have a lady on our team that seems to be just like you, and I think you guys would get along really good. So,
Thank you.
yes,
Wendy has 2 books.
Yeah, so you can actually see some of my work on my Facebook page. I have a closed group where I do some private or like group readings and whatnot. But I did write a book called Illuminate the Dark, where I talk about dark energy and how to clear space and close portals and whatnot. So you can find that on my website too, psychicmediumdannyjoe.com.
that might come in
Right on.
handy with us. What do you think?
Yeah,
Might
it
come
would.
in handy
Oh, yeah.
for us. Absolutely. Okay, guys. Well, we appreciate you coming and hanging out with us for this past hour. Appreciate you taking time out of your night. If you guys want to chat a little more, we can hang with you backstage for a few minutes, whatever, and just talk a little bit more. But in the meantime, we appreciate you coming on. It's an open door if you guys ever want to come back after season 4, of course. We got to finish out the paranormal tour of the U.S. So you guys have been very insightful, very kind, and very knowledgeable. So we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for having us.
Of course, of course. And if you guys want more great information on all of these states, stick around, because every Saturday night at 6 p.m. Central Time, you'll get a dose of paranormal from each state. Join us next week as we have Candy Slater of Iowa join us, and we'll learn about the state of corn. We've investigated over there or down there, and it's been a lot of fun over there, down there. Excuse me. So yeah, join us next Saturday, 6 p.m. in the state of Iowa. I'd like to go do this, and I'd like to go do this podcast actually in Iowa. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be kind of cool.
That would be
Yeah, it would be.
really cool. So, but yeah, join us next week as we do that. Remember to check out our sponsors of Schneider Customs, Dubby Energy, and more. You can find all those links on our Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok, all of that. So until next week, we hope you guys enjoy the show. We hope you have a great night. And as always, while I find my outro, happy hunting.